Not yet, not yet.
Hello and welcome to week 2 of the Go Mode podcast Mentor Tournament. We are very excited to bring to you the match between Antissim, mentored by Coy, and Mary, mentored by SailorNep. Sitting in the commentator booth for you today are Stylesetter, which is myself, and Tylersalt.
Hey everybody, thanks Stylesetter. My name is Tylersalt. Thanks for watching. Really enjoying the Mentor tournament so far. Looking forward to the beginning of this race between Antissim and Mary, mentored by Coy and SailorNep respectively in this Ambrosia seed form.
What's interesting about this is that Antissim is mentored by Coy a second time. Do you know whether Mary is mentored by SailorNep again?
In the last match, I'm not sure. I can probably pull that up though.
Different opinions on switching between mentors or staying with one mentor throughout the tournament. I think it has some same mentor because you can get used to it. But on the other hand, if you switch mentors, you get to know more play styles, different opinions, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Oro is telling us in chat that Mary did have SailorNep as a mentor. We should be getting underway momentarily here. And we are off. Our boots today are on Death Mountain. So that's good.
Yeah, that's always nice to read because you know there are not many checks on Death Mountain. Like you will be sure to get the boots quite soon once you go up there, right?
Well, unless it's on Floating Island, right? That would be a little bit of trolley location. Or it's on Ether Tablet. That's also Death Mountain. The chests.
Yes, they will definitely need to be counting their items because you really don't want to open a chest you didn't have to because the last item is on the boss.
Yeah, absolutely. That's honestly, it's one of the hardest things about Ambrosia is just remembering that is going on. That can be tricky thing about running this.
Also, it makes for some interesting routing decisions because if, for example, Skull Woods is a pendant, you might not actually want to go inside of there because you know, okay, one item is on the boss and you might don't want to go through the hassle of looking for the other item.
Yeah, we see Mary pulling out a full magic drop from the green guard there before the boomerang room. Paying attention to the prize packs in Ambrosia, in any standard seed, is really important here in the beginning. Our runners, of course, are going to be looking for bombs, and seeing that full magic drop at least hints to us that that could be the really good variety prize pack. It could just be the magic prize pack. But Mary's got to be careful here and get some of those hearts. It is the variety prize pack, picks up a crucial 8 bomb drop there. Both of them seem to have picked that up. That's great.
Yeah, that's definitely great. So if you want to know whether it's the right price pack, I believe the big magic needs to be followed by the 20 rupees, and then you know it's the right price pack with the 8 bombs in it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But both of the variety packs have bombs in them. So either of the variety packs will work. Also, the bomb pack will work, of course. But important to get those in the escape sequence so that we can open up those 3 chests and not have to make our way back into escape. Although I did find out the other day, I think in an Ambrosia ladder race, that if you go through escape and you don't have bombs, and then you get bombs but don't have the glove yet and need to go check the back of escape, and you go back into the dark part of through the sewers, it still gives you the light cone for free that it gives you in the beginning. So that's good to know.
Yes, that's definitely nice, but of course you prefer to find the bombs saving you the trip back there, right? Especially if your opponent found.
Yeah, of course.
So both runners making their way into the sewers now. They don't need to farm any rats or snakes anymore since they're pretty much set on bombs at this point.
Yep, the only thing, and they won't be farming enemies for money here right now. The other thing that they're going to want to keep an eye out for here early on in the seed is 100 rupees by the time they're done doing the checks in Kakariko Village, so they can check out the bottle merchant. Get that key that we need for Hyrule Castle there in Dark Cross. It was guaranteed to be in one of those first 4 chests, but there it is. Getting that bomb drop early means that these are some pretty solid times for our runners through escape. I'd say like the benchmark for a really solid escape is right around 6 minutes. In NMG at least, where you don't check those back chests. But both of our runners in line to finish escape in about 6.5 minutes, which is pretty solid. They're getting those bombs early, not having to farm a whole lot of, not having to farm them, and pretty good for our runners here in the Mentor tournament, who are all relatively new to the game.
Oh, that's interesting. On Antissim's side, he decided to go up and bomb the top wall. Would you say that's quicker or slower?
I don't know. I would say it depends on like how you do the bomb, right? If you're able to throw the bomb early enough so that you're not wasting any time, it's faster, right? But if you end up just putting the bomb there and waiting for it to blow up and not like walk while you're carrying the bomb, then it's going to be a much closer question. And both of our runners out in just under 6.5 minutes for the piece of heart there in Sanctuary. Not bad for there.
Yeah, that's definitely a good time. I mean, for the watchers, remember, these are people at the start of their Link to the Past randomizer career, so that's a really good time.
We had a map check there from one of our runners. Looked like we have a regular crystal up at Tower of Hera, and then the red and blue pendants in some order on Eastern and Desert. Neither of our runners going up and checking Lumberjack. That's a more common check to skip, especially in Ambrosia. When you know where the boots are, and especially when they are here when they're on Light Death Mountain, you know that you're gonna, they'll at least be accessible potentially earlier rather than later, as we get a Master Sword there. That's nice. And so our runners maybe leaving off checking that Lumberjack, knowing that they're gonna hopefully have the boots before too long, and considering that Ambrosia Seeds tend to throw Aghanim 1 at us at a decent pace here. So maybe you hold off doing that, gambling that you might have to do Aghanim 1 no matter what.
Yes, it seems like because you have a short sword in this mode that the seed logic is more likely to give you an agar seed.
Yeah, because you already start out with one of the bits. And so all you need then is the lamp and the cape, or the lamp and another sword. And they have that other sword there in the Lost Woods. So we head into Blind's Hut. There's a glove and the flute. Nice to find at the top. 50 rupees and 20 rupees. So they got that 100 rupees. They got the flute. Always nice to have that early so you can just activate it right away.
Yeah, it's always nice to find the flute in Kakariko, because that means you will save a lot of time throughout the seed. Instead of save and quitting, you will just fly anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. And now you can. I like the idea. When I get the flute early, I like to flute after we go down and do the full Kakariko check plus the library and the race game. I like to flute to 6, check the desert ledge, get a Gina, and loop that into my South Shore as well. So we'll see if either runner does that, because otherwise those checks can be easy to orphan.
Yeah, it's also nice if you don't decide to go to Agina, you can fly to 8 and then do the mini Moldom cave first and then move to South Shore, saving some time instead of going from Uncle's house downwards.
That's a good call too. We see our runners pulling the hook shot out of the well, and blue mail from the bottle vendor. One of the best safeties in the game. Each mail effectively doubles your health, so that's pretty good. Get your 07s.
Yeah, getting the hook shot this early and having the boots on the mountain is really nice. So pretty much all they're looking for are the hammer or the mirror, right? So they can do Hera and the whole of the mountain in one go.
Yeah, absolutely. Chat is wondering whether we'll see either of our runners, and Mary is running right up there, not even going to finish Kakariko Village. That is bold. Running up the mountain to look for those boots as quickly as she can. We'll see whether it pays off for her, or whether they will be up on Spectacle Rock. Odds are that this is going to pay off, right? Because you can sequence break the old man here, and since you've got the hook shot, you have access to the 8 items over there on East Death Mountain, with 7 in Paradox Cave and 1 in Spiral Cave as well.
Yeah, even if you can't do a Hera at this point yet, having the boots means you'll be really quick to go back up the Hera as well, so that won't be a big time loss.
Yeah, absolutely. And having the boots early, obviously you're going to be saving a lot of time, running around here. But also having both the boots and the hook shot when you go into Hera makes Hera Pot just absolutely free for the most part. So we'll see whether either of our runners are managing that as well. Antissim is not going to rush for the boots and is going to do the more traditional opening of sticking to those South Shore checks here.
Yeah, very safe play from Antissim. I mean, there's no rush to go up there at this point.
Yeah, maybe hoping to find either the hammer or the mirror before headed up Death Mountain. But you have to imagine that if Antissim finds either of those things down here, he's gonna book it up to Death Mountain looking for those. Mary's got to be careful here, down to 1 heart. You're pausing a little bit, not letting those dead rocks get her. Very good. There's going to be some hearts in here in Lower Paradox Cave or Upper Paradox Cave, depending on your perspective.
Also, could you imagine Antissim saying to Coy, hey, I'm not really confident with dark rooms, and them deciding that going up to Dark Death Mountain isn't as good if you can't save the uncle?
Yeah, if you don't know,
if
you can't save the old man, then that's 1 fewer check. There's our Moon Pearl in Mini Moldorm Cave, and the lamp. There you go. We find a fire rod and a bottle there in Paradox Cave, along with red mail and a piece of heart.
Yeah, now all that's stopping us from Dark World access is the hammer or another glove.
That's pretty good. We'll see if this is going to pay off for Mary. She'll hopefully get the information here about Floating Island. The boots could be there. But one more check, really, other than this one more accessible check. It's half magic there on the mountain island. So just Spiral Cave left for Mary for better hope that this it pays off with the boots here.
So I'm wondering, does the tablet go into the Death Mountain
Yeah.
hint?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would.
So
yeah.
not
So
having
Ether
the
tablet
book might stop you.
Yeah, that's also possible. Looks like Antissim not finding the mirror of the hammer, but is going to take this gamble. I think this makes a lot of sense. So we'll see if it's going to pay off for either of our runners. Here is the moment of truth. Nope. So that means sounds like those boots are on Ether tablet.
Oh wow!
The only light world mountain check left.
Yeah, but at least you have the fire
Mimic
rod
Cave.
now.
Oro
so
pointing
it's
out
not
Mimic
useless.
Cave is also, I believe, a light world Death Mountain check here, which could be incredibly rude.
Oh yeah, definitely. Also, I'm wondering how likely the runners are to come back to the mountain when they finished Hera, but then just coming back for the Ether tablet, knowing that it might be in the in the Mimic Cave, right?
Yeah, that's a really good point, right? Our runners might put off a trip up to Hera for as long as they can, hoping that they find the book early in order to check that Ether tablet while they're up here. So we'll see if that book turns up.
So from your experience, Desert Palace being a pendant, would you say the book is very likely to show up early?
You can never tell, right? Like if Desert's a pendant, right? But the boots might still be required to finish it, right? So then the book would have to come there. So it really could go either way. It's like Antissim sees just 10 arrows there on the desert ledge. Is going to check Agina. Mary's probably going to be fluting over here to the south shore to 7. Yep.
Yeah, both players really avoiding Eastern Palace because without the bow, it's always a gamble to go inside of the end, maybe needing to double dip it.
Yeah, absolutely. So this makes a lot of sense. I would imagine they'll certainly go in. I would think. I guess the question is then, right? You finish the South Shore checks. You finish Agina. Do you go over to Sahasrara, right? Get those 3 checks. If you don't find Dark World access, do you go and dip Pendant Eastern, or do you just say nope, screw it, and we'll go to Aghanim right away? Going to be an interesting, an important question for our runners to be discussing with their mentors, who are on a call with them. So they'll be able to. They're talking with their mentor the whole time.
A thing to mention, maybe both runners have lost their first round, I believe, of this tournament. Since this is a Swiss tournament, everybody is matched up by their points. So
I think Chad is saying that they actually both win their races. A 1-0 race. Yeah, they both won their races.
yeah.
We have. Oh, I've got the challenge.
So either way, both are matched up by them winning the first round.
Yep. So Antissim defeated Kiradesu in round number 1, and Mary defeated John the Branch in round number 1. All right, we'll see where Mary is headed. It's a little bit. Gonna go check Agina. So our runners are pretty much neck and neck here, doing checks that they've already done. Both of them putting off the Saha Eastern area, as we were talking about. So we'll see whether either of them makes that play to into Eastern, or doing Saha and going straight into Aghanim.
Yeah, both players really putting off Eastern as long as they can, so in hopes to find a bow before that. Also, I believe both players would have liked to find the boots, because then you could do Ice Rod Cave and set up a nice water walk and towards Zora, and maybe check the Zora ledge.
Oh yeah, that would have been good. Yeah, and looks like Mary is going to put off the Eastern area even longer, and is setting up a fake flipper. This is interesting without enough money to do Zora, but with that Moon Pearl, she'll have access to the 2 items in Waterfall Fairy Cave, as well as being able to peek at the Lake Hylia Island here and get the item from the Hobo. Antissim, on the other hand, is headed to the Eastern area, so we have our first little bit of divergence here in the seed.
Yeah, not having the Zora money makes the fake flipper play very unattractive, but still, if it means you don't have to do the Aghanim fight, you'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because for all we know, right, one of these water checks here. Oh, there's the shovel. That's interesting. We got a fetch quest going on. One of these water checks has the hammer or the glove, and this sequence break here to do these checks here is therefore just a big time save, because you get to skip that Aga play entirely. Of course, the King Zora check itself is in logic because of the gloves. As Antissim finds a bow there in Saha's closet. Good guy, Saha.
Yeah, this is great. Now they can finish Eastern Palace and then see where to go from there on.
Yeah, I guess the question is, you'll get 2 items in the front. You do get to get that 3rd item. We'll see if Antissim decides to do Armos Knights here or not. Of course, it is a Eastern being a pendant. I don't necessarily need to defeat Armos Knights. Ooh, a tempered sword there from Waterfall Fairy. That's really nice to have.
Yeah, that's really nice to see early.
Yeah, heads up to find this, to throw the bottle in there, get some free green potion for her trouble.
Let's see what's on the Zora ledge here on Mary's side. Losing the water walk, by the way, but it's not important. Just a hard piece.
Antissim having a little trouble with those cannonballs there, makes it through. Ooh, Mary gets hit by a cabbage there, and just knocked out of the path of the flute duck. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, saving and quitting to the mountain is both a blessing and a curse, right? It's faster if you don't get hit by one of the cabbages, but on the other hand, it might give you some trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. It can be a little treacherous there. My headcanon is that at the top of Death Mountain, we have the cabbage vendor from Avatar up there, just constantly getting his cart knocked over and yelling, "My cabbages!" As they all go rolling down the mountain.
Okay, Antissim finding his, was it his 2nd item or his 1st item here?
I guess we'll see, depending on whether how he keeps going. He definitely found the big key, so there's our 2nd item for sure, though, that red potion, and he is going to go ahead and finish.
Yeah, that's always nice to see in an Ambrosia seed, that you don't have to finish the whole dungeon.
Yeah, no need to go spend all the time to go through and check that vanilla big key chest. This is a very little thing, but that you can that I just caught on Antissim's screen, and you'll be able to see again on Mary's screen if she decides to go to the back and kill Armos Knights here, and that is Mary doing what I have done a lot lately, which is just go straight past the cannonball chest. Good job remembering that. But you'll notice, it's a little thing, so we'll see whether our mentors pay attention to it. But is about stair lag, which I will talk about here in a second after Antissim takes down Armos Knights.
Antissim going here for a very safe strat where you stand on the bottom right of the Armos Knights. If you want to do it quicker but a bit more riskier, you would stand in the top right, I believe. So you will kill him all in one go.
Yeah, not in between the top middle and top right knights. There is the spot for it. Ooh, as we find the cape. Well, I guess we're headed to Agadim, huh?
Yeah, like the funny thing with Ambrosia and the seed logic is sometimes the seed forgets that you have this many swords and still gives you the cape to really tell you have to go to Agadim.
So yeah, so we'll see. So I promised I would talk about stair lag here. Anytime you go through a spiral staircase here that spits you out at the top of the screen, you want to make sure that your first input is to the left or to the right. If you're which you should just do anytime you're going through one of those screens, just hold left or right coming out of the stairs. Otherwise, we'll see if Mary does it here. Yeah, if you go straight down or anywhere other than left or right, there's a little bit of lag for some reason. I don't know the technical reason. And so, which, it's less than a second worth of lag, but you go through a lot of spiral staircases in this game. And so that's free time if you can remember to do it. Hold left or right coming out of spiral staircases.
Does that stop the broken staircase in Swamp Palace?
It does not. Screw that staircase. There is a way to stop that, which is evading my memory at the moment.
Antissim going up to Aga now, but having a bit of trouble with those guards.
Yeah, those guards aren't fun.
So I think my advice would be to hold the sword while going inside the room, and then both killing with a spin.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the right strat there. Antissim getting a little turned around in the dark maze in Aga. Got it now. The path to get to that chest is not intuitive. And so if you're not used to doing Aga Tower, you got to do it a couple times in order to know the right path.
Yeah, the fastest way, I believe, is to walk directly down once you enter the room. Am I
right? For which room? I'm sorry.
For the first dark room with the maze. I believe you have to walk.
Yeah,
down,
I
right?
think so. I think so. Yeah, it's I'm having trouble picturing at the moment, but that sounds. Mary's going to check out the shovel spot here before heading over to Agadim. This was a sequence break. Mary got this from the water checks. Just a heart container, though.
Yeah, this would have been a huge play if Mary would have found either the hammer or a glove.
Yeah, no, that would have been huge. But Mary funneled into Aga Tower, as is so often the case in these Ambrosia seeds. We get to see Aga 1. Thank you to Keg in the Closet for confirming on chat that it is walk straight down, and that is faster in that room.
Yeah, Antissim searching for a couple of hearts here in this room because the Aga fight is coming up, and if you're not too confident on your positioning there, you could get some hits from Aghanim.
Yeah, absolutely. And the pots are a good weapon against those guards anyway. The pots do tempered sword damage. We'll see if Mary is able to pick up any time here. I wish I'd kept track of when Antissim entered the tower. Mary, of course, with that tempered sword, is going to have a little bit of an easier time killing things here in Aga Tower. So should be able to pick up a little bit of time on Antissim through here.
Yes, doing the tower of the tempered sword is really nice. Most of the opponents you can kill with one hit, if not with a spin slash. So let's see how many blue balls Aga is gonna give us.
Yep, 6 hits.
Yes.
Guaranteed reflectable hit on the first shot in each cycle. And the RNG in the Aga 1 fight is seeded, as is the RNG in the Aga 2 fight and the first time through the Ganon fight, the first time you go in through there. So both of our runners will see the same pattern of movements and the same the same pattern of blue balls versus energy blasts as well.
Yeah, this goes for a couple other boss fights in the seed as well, most notably for the Ganon fight in the end.
Yeah, so you get the same warp pattern in phase 1 and then the same number of warps in phase 3 as well. Important. And Mary, not as clean as you can be through that room, but was able to get through the pot prison room a little bit faster than Antissim with that tempered sword. So we see the Dark World for the first time, and we got red crystals at Skull and at TR, and the green pendant at Thieves Town. Pendant in Thieves Town always feels terrible. Oh, there's the mirror. That's a nice find.
Yeah, that's definitely good. Now you can finish up Hera, and if you find the book, you can check for that boots location possibly.
And Mimic Cave, if it comes to that. Interesting. Antissim not going over. And checking out the catfish here is going to hookshot directly over to the west side of the Dark World. Going to check out Graveyard Ledge here first.
Yeah, possibly Antissim is thinking they might want to have the Zora money first before going up to Catfish, and so they can route in all the checks up there without coming back a second time, right?
Yeah, absolutely, and maybe waiting for the flippers too, in case there's something on Zora Ledge that you don't feel comfortable doing the Ancilla splash delete stuff to fake flipper up there. Also, Skull Woods is a red crystal and is full clearable at this point as well. We're about half an hour in, so welcome anybody who's just tuning in. My name is Tylersalt, and I'm here with Stylesetter in the commentary booth. This is a round 2 match of the Go Mode podcast mentor tournament between Antissim, being mentored by Coy on the left side of your screen, and Mary on the right side of your screen, being mentored by SailorNep.
Yeah, the interesting thing about our tournament is that we group up a beginner racer with somebody more experienced who's on voice chat with them during the whole race, giving them advice on routing and execution.
Yeah, and it's been a lot of fun. I participated in the tournament last time as a runner, and now I'm a mentor this time around. So it has been a very positive experience in both roles. It's a lot of fun to play this game with another person.
Yes, I can definitely say also participating last year and this year actually, that I really enjoy the Swiss system. This means I can get in at least 6 matches, and I believe all the runners will enter a bracket stage at the end of the 6th round.
Yeah, that's
so
a
we
nice.
will have a top bracket and a bottom bracket.
A nice change there. So that should be fun. We see a little bit more divergence here. Antissim headed over into the Village of Outcasts area. Mary going to take a dip into Palace of Darkness, not completable without that hammer. But there are 5 items in here, 4 that are accessible. But
yes, this could pay off if they find something useful.
Yeah, especially if the hammer is in there. So we see the silver arrows there for Antissim in the brewery. So Master Sword Silverless off the table. I'm sure our runners will be breathing a sigh of relief for that. They'll both end up with silver arrows there, probably both with at least 10.
Yes, having tempered actually doesn't make the silverless fight that bad, right? Because you still kill it within 12 spin slashes.
Yeah, if I don't have this, I want at least I want the silver arrows or tempered sword at a minimum. Generally, just you really want to avoid that Master Sword Silverless. Like I can do it, but it is not, and it's not that difficult, but it is hard. Or excuse me, it's not that difficult, but it is tedious and requires a lot of concentration and takes a while. 24 spins. In a couple frame window. So if you can avoid doing that Master Sword Silverless fight at all costs, you can do it.
Yeah, I believe our runners are really relieved to find the silver arrows. It also means that certain boss fights are much easier. For example, in Misery Mire, the boss is so much easier with silver arrows.
So Antissim is, interestingly, this is really interesting. Antissim went into Thieves Town, right? Which was completable, but is a pendant, and without the hammer, couldn't do the big chest if it came to that. But skipping out on a full clearable Skull Woods, I wonder if that means that it probably means that Antissim's thinking is like, well, I got red mail. That's nice. I got 6 hearts. I got a master sword. Like maybe I want to try to find a tempered sword or some more health before taking off that moth fight, which can be a very, very tricky one.
Yes, the thing with Skull Woods is not only the boss is tricky, but also going up to the boss can be tricky sometimes. Like the mummies can give you hell over the time. And once you reach the boss, you might only have 3 hearts left, right?
Yeah, absolutely, and especially without half magic, that can be you want to use the fire rod in that torch room to kill those Gibdos, but also light the torches, and fire rod is a pretty decent weapon against Mothula. So.
Interestingly, Antissim picking up those 100 rupees, probably preparing to check Zora soon.
Yeah, I would imagine that is on their minds. Mary has 3 keys in that room, so knows there's something here in Harmless Hallway that isn't a key. It's another shield.
As for all the newer runners in the chat, if you have 3 keys by the time you would go into Harmless Hallway, there's definitely an item in there, right?
Yeah, or at least there's not a key. It could still be the compass of the map if you've got 3 keys there. And you've been full clearing, right? If you get the 4 keys in the front, or at least that the last one is in a chest that you skipped, then you can know that if you get there into that turtle room, back into the turtle room, coming out of the dark basement, you have 3 keys. You know that there's something in Harmless Hellway that isn't just another small key. Hype Cave, a complete bust for Antissim.
No hype at all.
Not much in pod either. Another bottle, I think, was it, and the shield. Antissim getting a little bit of a mirror bonk there. Got to take a step out. Looks like Antissim is headed up towards Tower of Hera. Get a crystal out of the way. But probably committing himself to... well, he's going to have to take another trip up Death Mountain, but, you know, maybe hoping that the book is in Tower of Hera to get those boots.
Yeah, this is a tricky play because common logic tells you to always do crystal dungeons first before doing other checks. But in this case, you might not want to do Hera as early as this because you know the boots might be on the Ether tablet.
Yeah, so, you know, like maybe, like, you know, interesting. I wonder if there are some confidence issues on Moth. You want to make sure that you're a little safer before you go in there. You know, so deciding, like, you know, otherwise, you know, it is a crystal. You can do it. We'll see if Antissim pulls out the Herapot trick.
Yeah, there's a nice glitch in this dungeon where you can clip inside of what's it called, like this?
The pot, yeah.
The pot, yeah, and then you can use the teleporter to go to the top floor instead of walking all the way up there.
Yep, and here we are. Antissim is going to pull it off using a bootsless setup here, which can be a little tricky.
Doing this bootsless means you have to turn around and then find the right position really quickly before the bomb explodes and messes everything up.
Yeah, this is, and especially knowing that they pulled that first item out of the map chest there on the first floor. You know that the rest of the chests in here are garbage, and so you don't need the big. Nope, didn't quite get it. Maybe we'll give it one more try before heading down to the basement and just getting the big key.
Yeah, the thing with these kinds of glitches is you have to be really confident that you will get them in your first or second try, because once you get to the third try, it might have been faster to just walk all the way up there.
Yeah. You know, with the tile room, you know, it's close, it's debatable, but you know, we'll see. We'll see how much you know. You don't want to get caught by the sunk cost fallacy here either. I don't know. I think too low. Yep. All right, and bailing and headed down to get the big key through the tile.
Meanwhile,
That's
Mary going to Skull Woods, so this could be a big play from them.
Yeah, tough wall master there, though. Is going to have to work on it again.
Yeah, unfortunately, if you get grabbed by the wall master, all the enemies spawn back in the room and you have to kill them all over again. Meanwhile, Antissim using the fact that you get iframes while standing in the blue packs in the moment they come back up, and this makes you invulnerable to all the tiles, so this gives you a small breathing break.
Yeah, the coffee break strat, as it's known. Mary smartly picking up the full magic refill to the side of the vanilla big key chest in Skull Woods. You know, really nice and important to have a full magic bar going into the back of Skull Woods, especially if you don't have half magic, which our runners don't. We know where that is. It's up on the floating island on Death Mountain. Mary at least has a green potion in a bottle, so that will be a nice save as well, or nice safety as well. Fire Rod actually takes 8 Fire Rod shots to beat Moth. That's a full bar. but only 4 tempered sword swings. And so a nice mixture of those is good. Fire rod shots, of course, let you stay farther away from Moth, but the tempered sword means that you can you can potentially kill him much faster.
Yeah, I think the tempered sword was really what.
Oh no,
Oh,
Mary! No. Oh, you got to be careful about that Wallmaster. If you're going pretty quickly through Skull Woods, that Wallmaster will always come right down there as you're picking up that pot, and so you have to be real careful about that. Unfortunately, now that takes away a lot of Mary's magic. Here, gonna have to do some shenanigans potentially.
Yeah, not
Both the magic
only
here.
you lose time here, but also you can't refill the magic back up to the max, so you'll have to rely fully on your potion and your sword hits to kill the boss.
Yeah, smartly using the lamp to conserve some magic here.
Antissim, meanwhile, having a bit of trouble with Antissim, but using the fact that while you have the sword out and Moldom hits you, you can't actually get knocked down to the next fall.
Yeah, as long as Moldorm is hitting you from the direction that you have your sword out. So Mary came really close to getting knocked in, hit by the Wallmaster again there. Successfully avoided it in here on the Moth fight, as we found absolutely nothing in Tower of Hera as well. So it feels like Moth is going to have our progression here. I feel like we've seen everything else at this point. Careful, Mary. There we go. Solid fight. What is Moth going to give us? Oh, Heart Container. So maybe back at Thieves Town, perhaps, is the answer here.
Yes, of course, and mirroring out of Thieves Town before finishing at all. This might be the moment when he comes back and then thinks to himself, "Oh no, where did I do that?" Right?
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Mary still has the other item in Skullwoods to find as well. She went straight to the back, which is absolutely the right play in Ambrosia. So we're looking for that second item in Skullwoods as well. Antissim making what is a smart play from his perspective, going over here into Pod, knows that he can pull out 4 items. Unfortunately, we know that he's not going to pull out anything useful here in a Palace of Darkness, but from his perspective, absolutely the right.
Yes, I think because they don't have Dark World access through Kakariko Town and only through the portal, it makes sense to check out Pod first before going all the way up to Skullwoods.
Yeah, chat reminding me that Zora could also have progression. Neither of our runners has had enough rupees to go up there, especially considering both of them chose to go into Pod and give 110 rupees to Kiki. King Zora is in logic with only the glove. You do not need the flippers to go check King Zora because in vanilla he's got the flippers. So it looks like back at Thieves Town is our best bet here at this point for progression. Mary, you're not going to... I guess you can go that way. It's faster to go the other way, but you can go this way.
Maybe it would have been nice to check Bumper Ledge at this point, because we have the cape.
Yeah, that's true. Antissim did check Bumper Ledge, and it was nothing, but that's a good call. Mary might be planning a swing up to check that and check out Graveyard Ledge as well. Both of those are going to be a blank. Aura pointing out that she actually checked Bumper Ledge on the way to Skullwoods, which makes a lot of sense too. Oh, and she checked Graveyard Ledge then as well. So never mind. There's a lot to keep track of.
Seems like Mary doing all the town checks first before heading into Thieves Town.
Yeah, absolutely smart, right? You know, if you find the hammer in here, then you don't need to go into Thieves Town, or it actually makes the Thieves Town play even better because you can then be sure that you can access all 4 items in there. But she's headed in there now.
Of course, our progression could be on Sahasrara, right, with the green pennant being in Thieves Town. So
That's
I wonder
another good.
whether
Yeah, it's a good
they
call.
will go there. Maybe a trip there.
Yeah, so full clearing Thieves Town is 5 items as well. Although with potentially except for the big chest if they don't find the hammer.
Mary finding the cane of Burner. Let's see what the other items are.
Cane of Burna is nice to find in blind. If you're not comfortable with the blind script, as it's called, the way to do the fight totally safe, Cane of Burna is one of the few items that damages blind, and so it's a really safe way to either do the whole fight or to finish the fight at the end of it, you know, without taking a death. So nice to find that as well. A little bit more confidence. Although with 9 hearts, Mary is probably in solid shape here for blind, but he can be tricky if you don't know that script, if you're not comfortable with it.
Yeah, definitely nice to have the cane. It saved me many times before in the blind fight.
Yep, no shame with cane strats on blind. Same with cape strats on Ganon. I do that all the time.
I do not recommend to use the bee though on blind.
Oh no,
because it takes
does he
a
freak
long
out?
time. Yeah,
Oh,
it takes a
it
long time
works,
for
but
the bee to kill blind. Yeah,
okay.
and in the meanwhile, you're going around dodging all the laser beams and all the fireballs. It's not pretty.
Antissim getting the bad news that that Hammerless Pond is a bust. We'll see if he chooses to come back and finish Thieves Town, or if he decides. Well, it seems like actually this makes a lot of sense. Now you can save and quit to the Dark World, right? Because you've got the mirror and you've beaten Naga. Now Antissim can head up, check Catfish, and mirror over and check Zora and Bumper Ledge, and maybe Coy will get him to do the Ancilla delete fake flipper to get into Waterfall Fairy as well.
Yeah, if Antissim finds a progression on Zora, this could be quite a huge advantage because Mary has been up to Zora already, only not checking the Zora King. So this they won't go there anytime soon.
Yeah, that's a good call. Antissim doesn't have an empty bottle; needs to let out a bee first. Unfortunately, that brings him to 497 rupees.
Okay, it's farming
3
time.
rupees short. Yep, we're gonna have to farm 3 rupees in here. Maybe, hopefully, Catfish will give him some rupees. Well, hopefully, Catfish gets him progression. Oh no, bailing out, not going to Catfish. That is very interesting.
You won't believe how hard it's to farm those 3 rupees.
Right?
Like I've been there many times trying to like cut the grass, cut the enemies, no rupees.
Yeah, and Antissim doesn't have the shovel either. So, answering a question in chat from Dr. Witty, have we seen the stun prize? I have not noticed our runners checking the stun prize. That doesn't mean that they haven't, but I have not noticed. All right, Mary off script a
getting
little
through
bit.
2 phases nicely.
Little face tanking there at the end, but blind goes down. Is this the answer? There's the hammer on blind.
Oh wow.
That was the choice.
So I think it's safe to say Mary is in the lead now.
I think so. at this point. Down a Tower of Hera, but up progression. Up Skull Woods. Of course, these checks down here in the Dark Death World, or the Dark Death World, the South Dark World, Antissim is already done. And so our runners kind of following in each other's footsteps here. Of course, now Mary can use that hammer and go and finish Palace of Darkness for another crystal as well.
Yeah, I think once they're done with the overworld checks, they will go to Palace of Darkness, turning in the green pennant with Sahasrahla and finishing off the Helmasaur King.
That makes a lot of sense. All right, Antissim going to have a little bit of a tougher moth fight here, only on Master Sword, and is only going to have one fire rod shot if it doesn't use the potion. Does smartly wait to hear that noise that the Wallmaster is coming before dropping down into the moth fight, though. This is probably why Antissim stopped in and bought potions here before moth. That makes a lot of sense.
Unfortunately, both the cane and the cape not being too useful because they also need the magic.
Yep. I wouldn't recommend using Cane of Burna in here. It makes this fight super laggy, but the cape can be helpful for. Takes down Moth. Very good job by Antissim there. Gets that heart container. But importantly, crystal number 2 for Antissim.
Mary making her way to Dark South Shore, probably checking Hype Cave as well on her way to Pod.
I would think so.
Mary probably.
I was going to say the hammer didn't really end up open up much of anything, really. It's really just Helma at this point.
No, it hasn't, right? Because we had the hook shot early. That means we could reach the other side of Death Mountain.
And then the mirror to get up to the Hera area. I missed it. Did we get all of the items out of Thieves Town, or was there something in the big chest that we had to leave behind?
I believe both players didn't check the big chest.
Well, they couldn't have checked the big chest because they didn't have the hammer. The question is, right? Did we see all 3 items that weren't on blind? It does open up Spike Cave. That's true. That is something that is in logic. Yeah, they've got the cape and the cane, so Spike Cave is in logic.
Let's see whether Mary gets the mirroring spot right for Sahasrahla, or whether she decides to do it after finishing off Pod.
Yeah, she's doing it right now. Makes sense. There's nothing in here that can help you get through Pod faster, and it's just a big 20 anyway, but knock it out of the way while you're here.
So I believe the next progression item the runners will look for are the flippers, right? Opening up Swamp Palace for us and Ice Palace.
Yeah, that would be a nice thing to have. The Mitts is the other big one, of course. The Mitts opens up the Mire area, and we would need a medallion to get into Mire or Trollerot, plus then the cane to finish them, the red cane. But yeah, we could be looking for the flippers, which would open up Swamp and Ice, or the Mitts, which would open up, I think, Actually, really just Dark Death Mountain and the Mire area right away.
And deciding to look out for some more checks before heading back to do the blind fight.
Yeah, of course we do need the mitts to get into Ice Palace as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So finding the mitts could allow you to sequence break Ice Palace by fake flippering there.
All right, Mary's got full health, able to save a menu in here. Doesn't have to menu over to anything to. Oh no, Mary, use your sword beams. No, muscle memory there. If you got full health, use your sword beams in there to triple switch. It's also a nice thing to take some damage there intentionally in that first room with the turtle, because whilst having sword beams is really helpful for that first room with the pegs, it's a big pain in the butt to have in this room with the turtles, because the sword beams only do fighter sword damage. And so it's one hit with the tempered sword, but several sword beams, I think 4.
Mary making her way to the Helmersaw boss fight. Having close to full hearts, a lot of safeties should be not a difficulty.
Yep, silver arrows even makes the last phase of the fight just one hit. Or 4 tempered slashes or 2 tempered spins. Very nicely done, taking down Helmasaur King.
Let's see what we get.
Ooh, a mushroom.
The mushroom.
More fetch quests.
Always good to find a mushroom. Keeps you guessing.
So Antissim does have the small key in here. In Thieves Town, we've gotten I think we've seen all 3 items, because I think that there was the cane in here. I think there was a shield, and there was a piece of heart. So I suppose we'll tell if Antissim opens this chest here.
Could be some muscle memory as well. Checking chest.
I might have been wrong about where that shield is. Our tracker is saying that if there was the front was key, cane, big key, and map. So there is an item that's going to be left in the big chest in Thieves Town that will be sitting there taunting our runners.
Interestingly here, Mary decides to go to Kakariko to check the bat location instead of going fluting and turning in the mushroom, and maybe checking King Zora.
6 to 1, half a dozen the other. 5 rupees short. Maybe you do this before going up there. Just maybe you'll get some rupees. Antissim taking down Blind. Nice fight there. Gets his hammer and that green pendant. Very nice blind fight by Antissim. Just a full heart container from the mushroom.
What do you think Antissim and Coy are thinking now, abandoning Thieves Town earlier and finding their progression only now?
It's a rando gonna rando, right? It's always a risk, especially in Ambrosia, when you know that one of those is going to be in the back. So they probably and rightly feel a little bit of behind here, but it's one of those things, right? It would have been an entirely reasonable play for Mary to do the same thing, all right, to nope out of the front after just doing that and not wanting to go to the back without the hammer. So unfortunately for Antissim, Mary didn't do that and did full clear it the first time. But both of them will be leaving that item in the big chest.
Mary here abandoning Zora and going up to do Hera first.
Yeah,
we
maybe
know
leaving Zora for to loop in with Catfish since she went to the magic shop in the light.
Exactly, this seems to be like Zora or Catfish will have the progression for us.
Could still be Spike Cave, but Mary will be able to check that while she's up here as well.
Let's see whether Mary opts to do the Hera pot glitch or goes straight down to the basement.
Nah,
And
Coy
it seems like they will try.
Yeah, Coy's. I think that bomb was not quite in the right spot. I think that bomb needed to be like 1 pixel farther to the left.
Mary doing
Coy, of
a
course.
different setup here, which like.
Hey, there we go. She's got it.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, that's an interesting setup. I like that setup because it mirrors the setup that you use if you have the boots and you bonk against that first set of set of crystal switch pegs, and so it's a nice way to line that up if you know where that bonk line gets you, because the bonk puts you in exactly the right spot, and so if you know where that spot is, you can get there pretty early. Mary taking a Moldorm fall. It's too bad. And chat pointing out that nailed the back end of Herapot without a buffer either, which is very impressive. Just 1 spin and 1 slash with Tempered Sword from Moldorm. We saw Antissim smartly, as I mentioned before, taking a little bit of damage intentionally in that first room to get rid of sword beams here for the turtle room.
Again, the Temper Sword gives Mary quite an advantage with the boss fights, killing them much faster.
Yeah, she'll pick up a little bit of time with that Tempered Sword over just every little thing she does. Also, every little thing she does is magic.
Now we'll see Spike Cave. Using the hook shot nicely to get around the cave faster to
Ooh,
this was close.
That was close. Yo. Oh, and there's the Canis Samaria. So nice pull. Does not open up anything. Zora, here we go. Do we have vanilla flippers at Zora? Or Catfish, potentially, right? Does Zora have a glove, have the mitts, in which case this wasn't actually an Aghaseed?
I think Mary is probably hoping for the flippers, because finding the mids opens up a lot of other locations you might not want to check, like the Smith chain. Of course,
yeah,
you will need the Smiths, the gloves either way, but maybe not in this order.
And of course, if you get the mitts here, then you know that you did Aga and didn't need to, right? And that is always a terrible feeling. Now, luckily, we know that even if that is the case, both of our runners did Aga, and so it didn't actually bite them. But small little tip there in Catfish: if you pick up the bush on the ledge before jumping down, once you jump down with the bush, carrying it doesn't slow down your movement. There are the mitts at Catfish. So that opens up the mire area for Mary. This was a required Agaseed, that means, so that feels good, I'm sure, to our runners that they made the right call there. What I was saying about that bush, if you jump down off of that ledge while holding the bush, then that you maintain your regular walking speed and not the slower carrying speed or shallow water speed once you jump down off the ledge if you do it while you're carrying that bush.
Let's see whether we get a vanilla flippers or whether it's a ripoff from King Zora.
It's a ripoff.
Just a heartbeat.
It's a ripoff. Classic King Zora. So our runners are actually, it's pretty close here. They've now done all the same stuff. Antissim is going to come here and get those mitts. Mary just about maybe a minute and a half ahead of Antissim here. Is headed down to the Misery Mire area. This is 3 quick checks, plus you get to, you can mirror over in the desert, maybe get an item out of there, and you can get some information here about what medallion is going to be required to enter Misery Mire.
Yes, this is
Not
still
that, though.
Very close. Like, nothing's decided yet.
So we're just let's reset here for our for viewers who are coming in. My name is Tylersalt. I'm joined in the booth with Stylesetter, and we are in round 2 of the Go Mode Podcast Mentor Tournament 2020. This is a 1-0 match in the Swiss stage of the tournament between Antissim, who's being mentored by Coy on the left side of your screen, and Mary being mentored by SailorNep on the right-hand side of your screen.
Meaning that both players are accompanied by a much more experienced player in voice chat right now.
So we had an ether medallion required for entrance into Misery Mire. We have an ice rod there at Checkerboard Cave. That's going to be required for a Turtle Rock, since that is a crystal. This is an ambrosia seed, which means that it was a standard start. You go through the escape sequence, and you get a hint about where the boots were at the top of the seed from the uncle, and then you get a guaranteed sword at the beginning, and in each dungeon the boss is guaranteed to have an item that isn't a dungeon item, so not a map or a compass or a key there. I believe that was the big key on the desert torch.
Yes, meaning it's actually boots locked. Of course, this makes sense.
Yeah, so the boots hint, by the way, was Death Mountain, which means it's unlike Death Mountain, which means and they've both been up there and checked a whole bunch of stuff and didn't find them. So the only 2 places that the boots can be are Ether Tablet, we don't have the book, or Mimic Cave, which would be very rude. Everything else on Light Death Mountain has been.
I believe Mary finding one of the items in Desert Palace, which means the last non-dungeon item will be on the Lan Mola boss fight in Desert Palace.
Mary taking that ice rod and the mitts and that Cane of Samaria, headed up to a Turtle Rock. This makes a lot of sense. Oh, getting Dead Rock there. Unfortunate. Headed over to Dark Death Mountain. Cannot get into Turtle Rock, of course, without a medallion. But those medallions have been known to be under the doormat, as they say. So maybe Mary will luck out and pull the required medallion out of Super Bunny Cave or Hookshot Cave here.
Yes, having the hookshot means we have 6 checks available to us. Of course, we know what is on Floating Island, otherwise it would have been 7 checks.
Yeah, and that was half magic on Floating Island. We'll see if Mary takes the time to pick that up. Half magic is a great safety item to have, a great quality of life item to have. So we'll see whether she takes the time to go up there while she is in Hookshot.
Antissim following into the footsteps of Mary being in Desert Palace themselves now. I believe they will make their way to Dark Death Mountain as well.
Yeah, our runners are getting it's either Dark Death Mountain or the Smith Chain at this point. We see Ether required for Turtle Rock as well. So just the only medallion we.
300 rupees in the first chest. Just the 20. Let's see where we will get.
Oh, there's our
And
Ether
there's the
medallion right under the doormat. So with that Ether medallion, we are just a pair of flippers away from go mode here at the 1 hour 13-minute mark. And Mary is going to go ahead and pick up that half magic. Makes a lot of sense, especially now that you know that you're about to go into Turtle Rock.
Yes, definitely. I would be surprised if they would leave the half magic just there. It's so nice to have it.
Oh, yep. Antissim picked up a potion. Is going to sequence break into Ice Palace. So we know that we're not going to find anything in here that we need because it's flippers locked, and the flippers are the only item that we need for go mode. But Antissim potentially still looking for a medallion, and they got to finish this anyway. They got hook shot, they got fire rod, they got the cane of Samaria here, so it shouldn't be too bad.
I believe we are just the flippers away from go mode.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So once Mary finds their flippers in Turtle Rock, everything will be rushed from this point.
Yeah, so flippers might be in Turtle Rock. Flippers could be in. Flippers could be on Landmo. They could be in Misery Mire too. Antissim being forced to use the hook shot in here in Pengator room without the tempered sword. That makes that room a little bit trickier. As Mary making her way into Turtle Rock.
For all the Antissim fans out there, I don't think them going into Ice Palace now is such a huge time loss if they have to full clear it and Mary is doing it in go mode. It's not a big difference.
I don't know. With Icebreaker, you can both a full clear and go mode are much faster than they used to be. But if you find a key, if you're go moding Ice Palace and you got the Candace Mari, you can do Icebreaker. It is blazing fast. Here we'll see how Antissim does on the Icebreaker. Got to get in the door, get 1 pixel into the door frame, hold down and right to get into the rail. Drop a Samaria block. Oop, that's not going to work. Oh, no, it did work. And then move exactly 1 frame to the left, 1 pixel to the left, then hold up or down. That will clip you through clip you through the big rail. That was legalized just a couple months ago here during the middle of league season of the season 2 of the randomizer league. Nicely done there by Antissim.
And of course, Antissim being accompanied by Coy, who made the Icebreaker tutorial on YouTube, which probably most of us have seen, right?
That's the one that I used to learn it. Coy, well known for those tutorial videos. He's very good at them. Yeah, Antissim did find things in the right order here in Ice Palace, so is gonna be able to pretty easily full clear this. Having a little bit of trouble getting into those stairs, which can be tricky without the boots. There is a way to clip in to the stairs from either side using a spin from the right-hand side or the hook shot from the left-hand side. But if you're not comfortable with it, then there we are.
Also finding the big key here just before the big key chest means they don't need to take the long way back here.
But then doesn't drop down the hole and decides to hookshot clip anyway. They blew up the hole, but then didn't do it.
Maybe they've been debating to do the bomb jump over there. I'm not sure.
Oh, maybe. But looks like we got item number 2 out of the big chest. And we are headed right to Cold Stare here.
Getting just some magic before starting the fight, because of course we don't have half magic and we don't have the Bombers medallion. That means we need to use almost our full magic to break the ice of the boss fight.
The entire full magic bar, as a matter of fact. But Antissim has a green potion here as well, and a blue potion. So that maybe just blue potions. And unfortunately doesn't have full health, so can't pull off if you're able to use sword beams in there, you can trick the game into thinking your sword beams are fire rod shots. But that can be that's a tough trick. All right, here's a Master Sword Cold Stare fight for Antissim. Mary about to show us Mimic Cave. Is this the boots? Or will we need the Book of Medora to find us the boots? It's either here or it is on Ether Tablet. Those are the only 2 possibilities. There are the boots for Mary. She can start running all around here. Antissim takes down a Cold Stare. Very nicely.
Finding the boots, of course, means we can do Desert Palace next.
Which is a pendant, so hopefully they don't have to go there. Hopefully Mary, for Mary's sake, hopefully she pulls the flippers out of here and is in go mode. But flippers now the only thing that we need for go mode. Mary, maybe some muscle memory there, or forgetting that she just got the boots. You can dash through that door or through that wall. You do not need to bomb it if you've got the boots.
Looks like Antissim got himself a couple of potions and making his way to Dark Death Mountain, probably doing Turtle Rock as well.
Yeah, I have to imagine that is in his future after picking up the Ether Medallion from Hookshot Cave.
Of course, having the mirror shield here makes Laser Bridge much more manageable for these runners. Although Mary having a bit of trouble with the ledges here.
She does take the safety door here. So now if she dies here on Laser Bridge, which honestly she might want to do on purpose, she'll get she'll be able to revive right here. So it makes a lot.
Yeah, leaving the dungeon through this opening means you have set your revival point to that place instead of the entrance of the dungeon.
Yeah, I think at this point it would be the big chest, but still it's still a pretty far away. And down to only 1 heart makes sense to take that death health refill just as a precaution. No flippers on Laser Bridge. Smartly pulling out the powder there, powdering the anti-fairy for a health refill before Trinex. There's the Ether Tablet from Antissim. Antissim also making the choice to go up here and pick up half magic. This is a nice way to do that, actually. I was wondering, I thought about saying that it was weird that Antissim went up in the dark world, but knowing that you have to mirror to get this anyway. Well, no, because you have to jump down from the floating island in the dark world. Can't jump down from the light world. So going up in the dark world did commit Antissim to a potential extra mirror if he was going to open Turtle Rock. Nice Trinex fight for Mary. Picking up crystal number 4.
So at
and
this
the
point,
flippers.
Nice.
Oh, at 1 hour, 23 minutes, just under 24 minutes, we're in go mode. So strap in, folks. This Go Mode is brought to you by the Go Mode podcast. Oro pointing out in chat that now with those slippers showing up at that spot, pretty unlikely that Antissim is going to get that sword in Waterfall Fairy. And so Mary is going to be at a nice little advantage here unless another sword shows up. The difference between Tempered and Golden Sword is not huge. The difference between Master Sword and Tempered Sword is huge in terms of how much time it saves you. So for Antissim's sake, really, really going to have to hope that maybe either Vidi or Argus or GT throws a sword at him.
Yeah, I've been casting the last match of Antissim, and he's been having quite the trouble doing Trinex with Master Sword only, having to take a couple of deaths. So I wonder whether he's been practicing his Hammer Trinex fight since last week.
Oh, that's some good info there. I hope so. That Hammer Trinex fight is not fun. It can be very, very tight.
I believe last time Coy and him were talking through the hammer fight during the match and trying to figure it out, and in the end he got it, but I really hope he's more confident in it now.
Yeah, that's one of the nice things. So we were talking right at the beginning of the seed. Oh, hey, look, it's a Godmire. That never happens when you're in Go mode. That's great. We're talking about, our runners can either work with the same mentor throughout the entire tournament, or they can switch it up and get a different mentor for each match. The pros of the latter being that you get different perspectives, right? And because everybody approaches the game a little bit differently. The pro of the former, of using the same mentor, is then you can practice with them, and you get that feedback and training in between matches, which can be a really positive thing as well. So hopefully for Antissim, he and Coy spent some time on that and got him a little bit more comfortable with that Hammer Trinex fight that he's going to have to pull here in just a minute.
Yes, from his after-match interview, he seemed quite confident and didn't make him too nervous, the deaths on Trinex. So I believe he will keep his cool in this seed.
Glad to hear it.
Also, for anybody wondering what the Godmire is, there's a glitch, or should I call it skill, where if you have the boots and you can actually hover across gaps.
Oh yeah, I mean, like Godmire, we just talked about Godmire being you get the big key in either that chest in the bridge room or in the spike room next to it, so that if you're in Go mode, those are usually the first two chests that you check, right? And so Godmire is, oh, hey, it gives you the big key there. You know that there's a small key in the spike room under the pot. You can go straight back to Vitreous.
Yes, it's really nice to find the big key in those locations. It saves you so much of time, not to speak of the cutscene chest.
Yeah, absolutely. And hey, if you can hover that Misery Migrant, then all the faster, for sure, but not required. Hovering's bad, and you shouldn't do it. That's my take.
Meanwhile, Mary doing a really clean boss fight using the silver arrows really nicely to kill those small eyes, making her way to Ice Palace. Let's see whether Mary will pull off the icebreaker glitch using the Cane of Sumeria.
I would think so. Now you're going to see the difference now you're going to see go mode Ice Palace with Icebreaker.
Of course, Antissim not losing too much time in Ice Palace because he didn't have to do the bomb jump to check the other chests, but of course, doing the go mode will still be faster.
Yep, we see Mary not even bothering with the Pen Gator chest. Is gonna go flip the switch. This makes sense. If you're not gonna full clear Ice Palace, always go back and flip the crystal switch here if you're go moding it. If you are going to full clear the dungeon, it's you don't need to do that. If you route it properly, you can kind of get through it and still save time. But to be safe, then always good to head back there and flip the switch.
Yeah, I believe if you don't flip the switch and you don't have the big key, then you're in big trouble getting to the boss, right? Because you can't go down the stairs.
Very nice icebreaker there by Mary. Very good.
Yeah, both runners being quite good at the icebreaker, and I would encourage everybody who's new to the game to watch the tutorial, try the icebreaker for 5 minutes. You will see it's actually not that bad.
No, that's very, very straightforward to pull off. It's good. Antissim smartly remembering to come back here and take the safety door, especially after what Stylesetter was saying about his round 1 match.
Yeah, definitely this influenced his decision here.
And you see Mary using the hook shot there to get into that stair a little bit faster, like I was saying. There, if you can kind of hook shot past the edge of the stair, it hooks onto that railing and it'll clip you right into the stair, so you can just walk down. Good way to do that if you don't have the.
Again, Mary having a much smoother boss fight here, being more equipped than Antissim was at this stage.
Yeah, we'll have that half magic helps a lot. Yep.
Yeah, half magic means you can almost spam your fire rod at cold stare and maybe get some doubles or triples in.
Yeah, also, Mary, importantly, having the tempered sword, which will make this fight significantly easier as well.
As we can see, Mary putting her fire rod to really good use here.
Oh, gotta be close, down to 2 hearts. Even on Red Nail, these Cold Stare Puffs do 2 hearts of damage on a hug. Very nicely done to take it down. So you watch Antissim work on that Hammer Trinex fight. Mary up
the
to 6
difficulty
crystals.
Being last time, I believe you didn't have half magic, which means doing the hammer strategy on Trinex is so much more tougher because you can almost not miss any shots.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to be real accurate with those rods if you don't have half magic or a potion. So you can, in theory, if you do it well, you can get 3 hammer hints in per rod shot. But unfortunately, Antissim taking a little bit of more time. Now there's a bunch of ice on the floor as well, which is not ideal. Choosing to spam the fire rod here and use a blue potion, very smart, is going to be able to get out of this fight just fine. As Mary heads into Swamp Palace, a go mode Swamp Palace will be very quick as well here.
Definitely, meaning they don't have to decide anymore whether to check the left side of Swamp or not. This decision is made by them by just having go mode.
Yeah,
and not having to do it.
And probably won't even check any of the chests as well. You know, I could see
Yes.
I could see checking the flooded room chests if you do diver down. Check the waterfall chest there. But if you're Mary, like there's nothing really that you can pull that would make anything appreciably faster. You know, you might get another heart, but you're at 15. You already have red mail, you already have silvers, you already have tempered. Really, it's just butter sword, and you know it's not a huge difference there.
And Antissim taking down Trinex on his first try.
Yeah, nice job by Antissim there.
Yeah. You know, this is what I really love about this tournament. Like, you can pick a player who you like and watch them progress and develop throughout the whole tournament. If you're watching like more experienced players, their play much between rounds, but in this tournament you will see such a steep learning curve for all the players in here.
Yep. Antissim getting those flippers is also in go mode here, but is down a mire and maybe about 25% of a Swamp Palace. We'll pick up some more potions here. We'll see if Mary is comfortable with diver down, the other Cane of Samaria shenanigans that got legalized recently, along with Icebreaker. Her Icebreaker was smooth enough and confident enough that I imagine that she has this diver down back here as well, pretty good, where you can use the bombs or the Cane of Samaria to clip through this rail. She's going to go for it and avoid the cutscene where you have to drain this pool.
Of course, Antissim doing Ice Palace before Mary means they're really close again now. With Antissim.
Remember that Antissim also has not done Mire yet.
So, that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a whole dungeon in between of them.
There's that book and a full heart container there for Mary. Yeah, so Mary's got about just short of a 2-dungeon lead at this point. Has just about finished Swamp here as Antissim is headed in, plus the entirety of a Mire clear. So Mary's got the lead here going into Ganon's Tower, but you know, still anything could change here. Mary could struggle in Ganon's Tower. We have the potential of Ganon falls or everything like that. So race is never over till it's over for sure.
Mary showing a nice boss fight. Of course, having the tempered sword makes it really fast. Let's see whether we will see a diver down from Antissim here.
All right. So you notice the Sahasrabot just said something. Stylesetter, what are we doing in chat?
Yeah, so because Mary has found her 7th crystal, we will play a small game. Basically, there are 22 chests in Ganon's tower where the big key can be, and everybody in chat can write a number between 1 and 22 into the chat, basically saying which chest they think the big key will be in, and then we will choose the winner who guessed the right chest.
Yeah, so you have until Mary enters Ganon's tower in order to get those guesses in. Stylesetter, what are you going to guess today?
You know, I'm always for the randomizer room. I think that's number 12, maybe.
I think it depends on, obviously the number depends on the pathing, but if it's the normal path where you go Hope Room first and then on then Rando Room, I think starts at 14.
Then I'll pick 15. What about you?
I went for 10, trying to maximize the chance that it's in one of the rooms with 4 chests in it there. Antissim picking up some time there, having a much cleaner, at least end of the Argus fight than Mary. Went a little bit slower as he did not have the Tempered Sword. Had to do double slashes on Master Sword, but still pretty good.
So there's just one dungeon in between Antissim catching up to Mary now.
Yep, and it is a God Go-Mode Mire, so shouldn't take him very long at all. But Mary is going to have a little bit of a lead here, headed into Ganon's Tower at the 1 hour and 40-minute mark. It's a great time for runners of this experience level, so they should be pretty happy with that. Get those last-minute guesses in.
The guessing game stops as soon as Mary enters Ganon's tower.
Well, as soon as Oro hits $stop in the chat.
Okay, Mary choosing to check the 2 chests on the right side. I think this is a pretty common play. Let's see whether she's going to continue the right side or go back up and go to the left.
Yeah, and she gets that small key. She is going to continue on to the right. We'll skip past. We'll skip past Tile Room there, do the torches, and we'll head to the Compass Room first. Sorry, the Speed Police are coming to get me. I was smart, Mary, not quite knowing whether that's going to be whether that was on the right far enough over, so waiting until the end. There's the Butter Sword. So if Antissim goes right side first, he will have Tempered and will not have to do the Master Sword fight on Ganon. So that's nice for him.
Yes, having only the Master Sword means that Ganon can only be damaged by sword spins. Normal slashes won't do anything against him, which makes this fight a little bit tricky.
Yeah, tricky and tedious for sure. Bob's Torch, check number 7, was a red rupee. 8 through 11 will be here in the Stalfos room. Number 8 is the big key. And Mary is out of here. Let's see who won the big key guessing game here today. And looks like our winner was Logix Zero. Congratulations to Logix Zero for guessing 8, getting that right. You win 13 internet points, which are, of course, the most important and valuable thing in the world. So congratulations to Logix Zero. Oh, Antissim doing some muscle memory and flipping that switch when he didn't need to. You only need to flip that switch if you go through the rest of the dungeon first.
Mary having a bit of trouble. For everybody who's new here, you can grab the wall in the room previously and move those enemies to a better position and then shoot both of them instead of going directly to them.
Yeah, and the mirror shield blocks the fireballs from the mimics, but annoyingly, and this is probably the thing that annoys me the most about this game, is that the mirror shield does not block BMOS beams. I don't know why it doesn't do that, because it totally should, but it doesn't.
Mary going to grab some fairies, some full magic in this hidden room.
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
in case, keeping it safe.
Great call. You want to be safe. You feel like, you're either in the lead or it's pretty close here. So, you want to make sure getting that safety is going to be way. The time you lose that is way different compared to the time that you would lose taking a death in Ganon's tower or on Ganon. So it makes sense.
Antissim finding his 7th crystal, making his way to Ganon's tower now.
Having a bit of an adventurous menu there. He was distracted. Made that way more difficult than it needed to be. That's okay. Menuing is a skill in this game, like anything else. Being able to traverse your menu quickly and efficiently is definitely something that takes practice and that you learn with experience.
Yeah, some advice for the people who don't know that you can actually use your tracker window as a menu. So before you start menuing, you should look at your tracker and look at the path you might be using for menuing to the item you need.
Yeah, and you got to make sure that your menu, that your tracker is arranged like that. There's some trackers out there that let you move things around and everything like that. But as long as yours is approximately equal to approximately the same as the in-game menu, that can help you practice that. 2 things about Mary's stream there. Decided to menu to the silver arrows before going into the landmo room. I would suggest, if people are doing this, to either menu to that before you go into that room with the bunny beam, or once you get into the landmo room. If you spend too much time in that room with the bunny beam in it, then it can screw up the RNG in the landmo room, and then they all kind of spawn at the same time. It didn't work out for Mary. Although if you're going to use silver arrows on landmo, it actually the closer to landmo that you can fire them, the better. As you saw, Mary had a little bit of trouble with the timing there with those arrows, trying to hit the landmo from too far away. So better to do that from closer to where they pop out of the ground. But she did a pretty good job.
Of course, if you're really unsure with the arrows, it's always advisable to use the fire rod if you have enough magic. It's really nice because they have a big hitbox.
Yeah, I like using the fire rod myself. Fire rod creates less lag than the silver arrows as well.
And Antissim entering Ganon's tower at a time of 1 hour, 46 minutes and 40 seconds.
Yeah, so Mary is essentially an entire Ganon's tower ahead of Antissim, maybe about 90% of a Ganon's tower over Antissim. So we'll see what Antissim's route is.
Yeah, let's see whether he will go right side first.
Oh no,
to grab that
no!
sword.
Oh, this is not fun for Antissim. Is deciding to skip out on right side, so he's gonna miss out on that tempered sword that he would have gotten in the compass room. So that is a tough break for Antissim if he wanted to catch up here.
Of course, this means if he's really confident on the Master Sword fight, he might actually save a couple of seconds over Mary doing left side directly.
I don't know. Man, that fight is so much more dangerous with Master Sword. I can't imagine. You see now he's checking these other chests to see if he picks up a sword here. But
of course, we know there are no more swords besides on the right side of Ganon's tower.
Yeah, as Mary takes down Aga2 here, is going to need, has a decent lead here going into the Ganon fight. Has got 16 hearts, gold sword, red mail, silver arrows, some potions. What more do you want?
Mary beating Aghanim fight 2. Now all it's left for winning the race is killing Ganon.
Yeah, gold sword makes the one cycle here on phase 1 pretty easy. She managed it. Should be able to get a one cycle on phase 2 as well, using the hook shot there, the iframes that you get from that hook shot being fully extended to avoid damage from the fire bats. Into phase 3 already.
Interesting fact about the gold sword is that gold sword spins actually don't do more damage than normal slashes unless you hit the Ganon with 2 spins.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
Let's see whether Mary can get the torch glitch. Of course, it's not needed having silver arrows, but it's always nice.
Close. Mary trying to prioritize a silver hit over the torch glitch. Doesn't quite get the silver hit in and doesn't get the torch glitch, but that's fine with half magic and potions. Gets a double there.
Almost a triple, but close.
This should be good for another. Ooh, I thought it was going to be another double. Nope, that fire bat got her. There's number 3.
All that's left is one shot. And Ganon is dead.
There you go. Get your GGs in chat for Mary. Taking down Ganon. All that's left. It's a very treacherous bridge.
And Mary finishing with a time of 1 hour 50 minutes and
16 seconds officially. Yeah. So GG to Mary and her mentor SailorNep. We'll see if we can get them in for an interview. Seems like Antissim is going to finish this out. We think.
This is a really nice time for our races. Finishing in under 2 hours is one of the first benchmarks some people might set for themselves when starting to do racing competitively.
That's absolutely right. And we are joined in the booth here by our winner, Mary. GG, Mary.
Thank you.
GG.
I'm sorry that y'all saw that there were a lot of really bad mistakes.
Oh, no. I didn't even notice. So, you finished sub 2 hours, right? I think in this tournament, any runner is going to finish sub 2 hours. They should be very, very happy, very proud of themselves. So GG. Your thoughts on the seed, kind of just coming.
Honestly, I don't know if Antissim got those mitts earlier than I did, because I put off catfish for quite a while. But the fact that I did actually was really lucky for me, just by virtue of I got to go mode 3 dungeons as a result, which felt really good.
Yeah, having you did get the mitts first before Antissim did. He had also put out catfish. But yeah, having those mitts late is really, really nice. They weren't quite go mode for us here, but they were the thing that sent us towards go mode. There's Antissim takes a Moldorm 2 fall there, unfortunately. I have a question for you, which is about your choice right at the beginning of the seed to flute up to Death Mountain immediately before even finishing Kakariko Village. I loved that play. Looking for the boots didn't pay off for you, but I loved it. Can you tell me about y'all's thought process about that?
So my thought was, since we had the flute, it was both going to be very easy to get up to the mountain and to get back to Kakariko. Like, it drops you in a place in Kakariko that I could literally pick up my route exactly where I left off. Like, I did Bottle Vendor and then fluted away because it puts you like right next to the Sick Kid, Bombable Hut, and Tavern Trio. So I was hoping that we'd be able to find the boots on the mountain so that the library could be done at the same time. Obviously, with boots and Mimic Cave, that didn't pan out, but that was my thought.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love that play. Very heads up routing by you guys. Was that your idea, or was it a collaborative with Sailor?
So that was actually something we both ended up thinking of. Like, SailorNep mentioned it to me while I was like running the seed after I found the flute. But like, as I mentioned to her at the time, I was thinking pretty much the exact same thing. But yeah.
Nice. So very, very heads up play there. That's really good. As Antissim is fighting Aga 2 here, taking down Aga 2.
Nice. Also, that hammer location sucked.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
While we were while I was on my way up to Catfish, whenever I was like looking for any kind of progression to actually open stuff up, I was like, if the seed makes me go back into Thieves Town after getting hammer off of blind, I'm just gonna be like, what even is this seed?
Yeah, no, we were worried about that while we were watching, and luckily it did not end up being the case here. Let's watch Antissim on this, unfortunately for him, Master Sword Ganon fight. Antissim never went up to the did not fake flipper, and so did not make it into Waterfall Fairy, and also did not go to Compass Room in Ganon's Tower, so did not get that extra sword there. So only sword spins for Antissim's fight here against Ganon. Much tougher fight there, but we'll see if he can pull it off.
Yeah, I was hoping that during those fake flippers I'd find Dark World access, but I was pretty happy to find the Tempered Sword and Waterfall Cave, because that made the Aga climb much easier, not to mention the rest of the seed.
Absolutely, yeah. So that was a nice advantage that you had over Antissim for the entire seed, that sword. So you definitely picked up a good, decent bit of time there. Antissim using cape strats against Ganon. Love to see that. Very safe. Got plenty of bottles with blue potions. Very nice to do, of course, with this Master Sword fight where you have to use spins. Luckily has the silver arrows. The game kind of threw the silver arrows at you. So getting some nice double spins here on the wall.
Yeah, using the cape to great use here. One tip for anybody who doesn't know it, you can grab the wall when using the cape and basically not lose any magic at all.
Yeah, it's spamming sword slashes will also do that, although less reliably. But Antissim threw the hard part of the fight now into phase 3. Master Sword from this point on is a little bit trickier, but not appreciably harder. You do need to spin again in order to freeze him. But with Silver Arrows, Master Sword Silverless is not a big deal here once you're past those first 2 phases. Antissim smartly seeing that he's going to take a fire bat hit and just taking it while standing there, has used his last potion. Gonna have to be careful here. But the fire bats in the Ganon fight do not have knockback. What they do is they reverse your directional inputs for a short time, and so the best thing to do if you look like you're about to get hit by a fire bat is just take your left thumb off of the control pad there, and make sure that you're not doing any directional inputs. You'll take the damage and just kind of bounce into place. Gets torch glitch. It does a silverless hit there. You don't need to do the silverless fight. There we go. Okay, good. In this last phase again, the best thing to do if you get torch glitch, right? The thing to do is to make sure that you light the torch just as Ganon is kind of landing in his kind of location. That gives you the most time to get additional hits in. It's especially important in the silverless fight. Antissim's got to be careful. Down to just 3 hearts here. No more potions, I believe. Down to 1 heart. Yeah, Oro bringing up something that's absolutely true. Master Sword Silverless can be tough there. Unfortunately, taking a fire bat there. We'll see if Antissim decides to give this another shot. Looks like he will. He's going to go buy some more potions. Maybe. Oh yeah, smartly uses the portal here down below the main gate, because now that you're in the dark world, now that you're in the light world, right? You have to flute back over, and the closest you can get is 4 back at Link's house, right? So if you do that outside the gate, then you don't have to enter Hyrule Castle at all. Of course, having beaten Aghanim, it doesn't really make that much of a difference now that I think about it, because you can always just go through there anyway. All right, let's get some hype in chat here for Antissim to take down the big pig here. Attempt number 2. Let's give him those vibes.
One thing to point out, when Aghanim is in the top right corner, like he was just now, it's best to stand in the corner as well, because then you can get some double hit, spins in.
Yeah, absolutely right. Good point. Yeah, in this position right here, yeah, if you stand in that upper right-hand box, especially if he's in phase 2, right, and is doing the spins with the fire bats, that's the best time to do it.
So I think when learning the Master Sword fight on Ganon, the most important thing is to know his positions and where you can position yourself to get the most spins in.
Yeah, and a big thing about the Ganon fight as well is knowing where Ganon's hitbox is. It is not as big as you think it is. You can get right up to his arms and not take any damage. You can be right up in Ganon's armpit, and you won't take a Ganon hug. So since those Ganon hugs are so punishing health-wise, even on red mail, it is important to get a feel for where Ganon's hitbox is, where you're going to take damage and where you're not. Getting some nice double spins there in the off the bottom wall into phase 3.
You know, the third phase can be quite tricky with the Master Sword, because if you get a spin in and then he just does one warp, you might not have enough time to charge another spin, and he releases the bats. So the timing can be really tricky on this one. Also, you can kind of anticipate where Ganon is warping by seeing the direction he's warping into, and then if you know the positions, you can kind of guess where he will stand when he reappears.
Yeah, there are only so many locations on the screen that Ganon can warp to. So learning those and kind of learning to read Ganon's warp trajectory is really important. Gets the torch glitch. All right, Antissim, let's do this. 4 silver hits. There's one. Oh, waited just too long.
A bit hesitant on this one. He equipped the fire rod. Do you know whether he has a magic potion left?
He has one more blue potion. Yeah, he used a blue potion during the beginning part of the fight and used a red potion earlier. So he has one more blue potion. Oh, just misses the double up against the torch. Yeah, because he bought 2 blue potions and a red potion. Smartly waiting for Ganon to land there. There's 3. Oh, just too far outside. So the thing to do with when you're trying to get spins in Ganon on phase 4, whether you're doing the silverless fight or Master Sword Silvers, is to wait for him to throw the fire bat and then kind of just at a diagonal and then move right out so that you can move at him in a cardinal direction. But there it is. Get your GGs in tap for Antissim taking down Ganon, finishing up this seed. Antissim finishing with an official racetime.gg time, 2 hours, 6 minutes, and 36 seconds. GG to Antissim.
GG.
Looks like Antissim is going to join us here in a moment for an interview. But Mary, congratulations on your win once again. 2-0 now in the Swiss here for the first round of the Mentor tournament. Very well done. Any final thoughts from you before we talk to Antissim in here in a minute? Mary, I'm going to step away from the mic.
I had my mic muted because
good old mute.
Have push to talk on. And I said no, just GG to Antissim.
All right, thanks
so
very much.
Maybe one last question. How do you feel about next week doing the whole race mentorless?
I'm sure Nep will still be watching and will cringe when I inevitably do something like forget it's ambrosia and continue clearing a dungeon where there's only the item on the boss left.
Almost certainly. We've all done that multiple times, so don't get too hard on yourself.
She just had to remind me like multiple times, like, it's ambrosia. You've got 2 items, you can just go. Oh, and one other thing. Thank you very much for putting on this restream and commentating it. I hope it was fun to watch.
You're welcome. It was a joy to see you play, and good luck in the coming week.
Yeah, and thanks to Oro, our restreamer, as well as fredAKAderf, who was the unsung hero of the race, being our tracker, hitting buttons behind the scene here as well. Make sure you give these runners a follow. Mary and Antissim put on a heck of a show for you. We'll get their Twitch handles in chat, so make sure you give them a follow as well.
I believe Coy and Antissim will be ready in just about a second for an
So just we've got, I believe, one other match set to go off today, which is going to be at 9 p.m. Eastern. There are a couple other matches. This is the only other restreamed one. That's at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. We've got Kazdin being mentored by Kern against Yardo being mentored by Nabs. That's going to be on this channel a little later, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. And we're joined by Antissim and his mentor Coy. GG, Anti.
GG.
GG.
Your thoughts. I have to say, I didn't think I anticipate some of your thoughts, maybe from your tone of voice. But your
just that hammer on blind, and then mitts on catfish. So much fun.
Too tough looking. Talk me through and both of you, perhaps your thought process on Thieves Town. Right, you go through the front, and you get 2 items out of the front. And then you're trying to decide whether you're going to continue on through the rest of the dungeon. What was your decision making there?
It was 1 item in the front.
Oh, it's 1 item in the front. Oh, even
that was.
It was just South Shore had more checks and didn't have the hammer yet, so that's basically 1 item guaranteed locked off in the big chest. So
the reason we didn't do Thieves Town was because we didn't do Skullwoods. Because like the normal play would, because we could have full cleared Skullwoods right there, but we were on kind of a low hearts. We didn't have a potion. It was a pretty iffy fight. Antissim didn't sound very confident when I asked him if he could do it, although he was willing to try. And I felt like it would be better. We'd be better off just putting it off for a second instead of like going there and potentially dying a couple times. But when we get to Thieves Town, it's like, oh well, there's a lot of items in the back of Thieves Town, but like we're gonna come back over here for Skullwoods anyway. I'd rather just make sure it's not Skullwoods before we do Thieves Town. So because we didn't do Skullwoods, we didn't do Thieves Town.
That makes sense. The back of Thieves Town can be treacherous as well if you're on low health.
I would have gone there in a heartbeat if we didn't have Skullwoods ready to go.
What were the 2 swords that
did we see any swords?
Yeah, the other swords were in Waterfall Ferry, which Mary fake flippered early to get. And then, unfortunately for you, in Compass Room in GT was the other one that you skipped out on. That you didn't go right.
Don't you love it? You know, like we make the right play, saying it's an Agaseed, and we get punished by say a nice item being in the sequence break spot. God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How frustrating.
Not much you can do about that.
The catfish thing, like the reason we didn't do catfish was because of splash delete.
Yeah.
Like it feels bad because like if Antissim had been, if he had told me he was really confident with doing splash delete, oh yeah, let's just do catfish. We can do the flipper checks at the same time. But without that, I'm like, I don't want to orphan all these flipper checks.
Right.
Let's just put off catfish. But you know, they both of those things that the routing decision was based on. When the routing decision is based on the tech in our repertoire, it feels bad because we could have done more.
Yeah,
but more likely it was just like hammer and height cave or something. That was just way more likely.
Right, and then with the flippers, of course, being your go mode, right? You're never gonna end up going back up there when, if you had gotten flippers in a hype cave, maybe you go back up there and you get that sword there. So that can it kind of hurting you there. You're twice, but there's no way that you're gonna know that going through it for the first.
Another interesting play I wanted to ask you about is, I believe when you fake flipper to Ice Palace before going up to Dark Death Mountain and doing Turtle Rock. Of course, you didn't have the Ether medallion at that point, right?
Yeah.
It's not only did we not have Ether, we didn't know what medallion was required for TR, and we didn't have any medallions at all. And
right.
So like in Rando, like the next item you're most likely to find is always the item that opens up the most locations. And at that moment in time, the item that opened up the most locations was flippers. So it was, if we go up to the mountain, which was the item dense area, the thing we're most likely to find up here is just the flippers. And what's the first thing you do when you get the flippers?
You go finish Ice
crystals.
Palace.
Yeah, you just go do your crystal flipper dungeons. So
yeah.
with the Cane Samarian Icebreaker, like Ice Palace was just a really quick dungeon, and it was just it's probably just flippers up there leading to something in Ice kind of play. Ice ended up being empty, but we didn't lose a lot of time because of Icebreaker anyway.
Yeah, and then you're really only going to get punished for that if the key is under the doormat, as it were, right, of Undeath Mountain, which of course it was. So you guys made a bunch of extremely defensible decisions, right, that ended up not paying off here in this race. So tough beat.
Also, I wanted to ask Antissim, going into Turtle Rock again with the Master Sword only, how did you feel about that? Second week in a row.
So I've been practicing the Trinex fight on Hammer. Still not my best fight, still not amazing at it, but better than last time, sure.
Yep, no deaths this time. That's good. That is a tough fight. You got that Hammer hitbox is so wonky, and you got to get so close to Trinex. It can be absolutely anxiety-ridden fight. So I understand that.
Yeah, you've done really well. I really enjoyed seeing your learning and progression from last week to this week, and killing Trinex on the first try. That was really great. GG to that.
Thanks.
So as we wrap up here, like I said, again, GG to both our runners, and congratulations to Mary for winning. Thank you to Coy and SailorNep for mentoring here. I hope you guys had fun as well. Like I mentioned, as Antissim and Coy were coming into the room, there's one more match that's going to be restreamed here tonight on the channel, 9 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. Pacific. That's Kaysden versus Yardo with Kern and Nabs, respectively. We've got a bunch of other races that are visible on multi-stream, including 2 that are going on right now. One being Splits Happen versus So's. That is available. They started at 4 p.m. Eastern, so they're a little over an hour in, as well as same time for Omega Toysk and Laggy being mentored by Apathiak and Kappa. Also visible right now on multi-stream. If you're still picking around here, you can check out those matches now. And then we have one more restreamed match a little bit later tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. So any last words from anybody here?
I just want to say thank you to the restreamers, to you guys commentating, trackers. Thanks for all that. and also to Gomo Kotka.
I just want to it seems like, oh man, if we just knew those techs or were more comfortable with those fights, like we would have had a better time. And that's true for this seed. But I feel like for most seeds, it wouldn't have been a big difference maker. Because like I said, like it was just more likely that it was just going to be Hype Cave or Flippers and Hookshot Cave and stuff like that. And it just happened that if we had done Splash Delete, if it just happened if we had been more comfortable with the Mothula fight, it would have been better. The much bigger difference maker across the whole seed is always going to be general execution. So a lot of new players, they really worry about knowing these techs and saving 20 seconds here and 30 seconds here, but saving 1 second in 100 rooms is more time save than 20 seconds in one room.
Yeah, that's an important thing to keep in mind. Absolutely. Coy, your better execution throughout is going to be, and those decisions that you made, they weren't bad decisions. They were good decisions that didn't pay off, so, and that's the name of the game here. So we're gonna close things out here. Thank you to my co-commentator, Stylesetter. Good work.
Yeah, thank you to you too, Tylersalt. It was great commentating with you.
My pleasure. Always fun. Thanks to fredAKAderf hitting buttons behind the scenes, our tracker, and to Oro, our Restreamer. And thank you to everybody for watching. Go check out those other matches here tonight in the Go Mode Podcast Mentor Tournament. And download that. The podcast just came out today on swords. It's all about swords. Thanks, everybody. And we will see you next time. GG to our runners. Congratulations to Mary on the win.
Thanks again.